All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the LA Soccer Hub show. This is take two. We had a few technical difficulties, but we're back. Obviously, right before we had technical difficulties, some of the things we're talking about, NWSL is finally coming to Los Angeles. Today is Wednesday, July 22nd. We have Gustavo Ortega joining us. Gustavo, how you doing?
Hey Gio, how you doing? Great to be here. Excited to talk about soccer once again, especially LA teams, man. It's an exciting time to be in Los Angeles. Excited to see Angel City come to life in 2022. But also, hello to everyone tuning in, and thank you for being patient with us.
Yes, thank you for being patient. Obviously, I'm out of town and I'm in a hotel room. The Wi-Fi is not the best connection here, so I just kind of have to make it work. So yeah, going back to Angel City, like I said, it's a loaded ownership group that features over more than 30 celebrities, people in tech, and some of the names that I want to mention is obviously you got Mia Hamm, who's one of the people that's invested in. You also got Abby Wambach, Lauren Holiday. I believe you have up to 14 former U.S. women's national team players on there. Some of the celebrities are part of this team. As Natalie Portman, Eva Longoria. The industry leaders are Kara Nortman, Julie Ehrman, Alexi Ohanian, which I butchered his last name, and he's the husband of Serena Williams. And she's also part of this 30-person group of elite founders and, ownership group. First of all, Gustavo, what do you make of all this amazing news that's going on?
Well, you saw my excitement, Gio. I think it's a great investment, especially because you're investing in women's sports. It's been 10 years since LA had a women's sports soccer professional team. So I think this announcement and a lot of fans were asking for it. You saw, like you said earlier, the fans coming out to the LAFC games with the bring NWSL to LA, and I think that's a big accomplishment because you bring in the global game to one of the biggest cities in Los Angeles, in the world, which is Los Angeles. And I think you're going to have 3 soccer teams now. You're going to be rooting for LAFC or Galaxy, but now you're going to have to come together and root for one same team, which is Angel City. Hopefully the name sticks because I really like it. And I think it'll be for the best of the game. Hopefully we have that atmosphere and both of the crowds put together. But it's like I said, it's a big investment. Hopefully it fruits well, and the best of luck to this new football club.
Yeah, and obviously things you mentioned. I initially thought that LA Galaxy was was the team that had the vested interest group. It comes out that necessarily they don't have any backing towards this team. Well, what's interesting, obviously this team, if they are going to be named Angel City FC, they have to find a place to play. They're going to have to find a home. And that was right now, obviously, you got LAFC, Bank of California, or Galaxy at the Dignity Health Sports Park. So as of right now, it's unclear whether they'll play or potentially third option, they decide to build their own stadium. That's going to be very interesting to see. Because if you're trying to bring in a club or a women's club, obviously, if you're associated with LAFC or LA Galaxy, depending where you go, some people may feel some type of way or the other, but nevertheless, it's going to be exciting to have finally a professional women's team here in the NWSL. They will be the 11th team in the 2022 season. One of the cool things about that, in the 2022 is when the World Cup will be in Qatar. Obviously, we know that's going to be in December. And then the year after that, in 2023, is when it's the Women's World Cup. So they're coming right at the perfect time, right? Obviously when all eyes are going to be on soccer, football, and it's going to be exciting just to see that happen and just see how it grows and just who it's backed by. It's majority women that are backing this, and majority women's soccer club that's going to be part of this. It's just an amazing thing all around. Like I said, people have been wanting this, whether we went to LAFC games or LA Galaxy, they always see those signs, bring NWSL to LA, and it's finally happening.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's a market. that lures a lot of great time athletes, and we know of a couple of big names. For the NWSL, you have Alex Morgan, Press, who also tweeted about it, and other big names who can come and play for this franchise. So it's a win-win situation for Los Angeles. I think you could bring more star power into this. There's a lot of colleges out here who support women's soccer. It's a soccer town here in SoCal, pretty
Mhm.
much, and I think this is going to benefit not just the city of Los Angeles, but the league as well, the NWSL.
Yeah, it definitely is. I want to play the video. Hopefully, it doesn't ruin it. We'll just try. It's just such a cool video. Give me 1 second.
Angeles, where the concrete meets the coast, where talent meets triumph, a city defined by its citizens empowered by their dreams, a place that moves the world. And what better time is there to move than now? Welcome to a new era of sport and entertainment. Unapologetic, undeniable, unstoppable. That's who we are, because that's who the city is. Bright lights and brighter stars. This is the place. This is the time. The global sport in the global city. Coming together, we're naturally destined to be bigger than the game. Rewriting the script, righting the wrongs, building a women's football club that lives up to the name. Angel City. And you're a part of it. Part of driving change forward. Welcome to the beginning.
Such a cool video. I mean,
It got me hyped.
It gets you hyped, you know. I just when I saw that on social media, wow, like you want to
Yeah.
come out with the bang. That's the way to do it. And on Twitter, that video already has 1 million views. I mean, it was retweeted by all everybody that was part of this group, and you know, you saw so many people, and that's the way you want to do it. And it just brings so much excitement. Obviously, there's a lot of work that needs to be done, but I like the way this team is being built up and the way the team was brought to us.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, there's still, like you said, a lot of work to do. We still have to get the official name of the team, the crest, the colors, where they're gonna play, and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a start. I think this is what the city needed. I mean, we have women's basketball professionally, and I think now a soccer team added into the women's professional sports. I think it's a big step, not just for the city, like I said, but also the league. And you know, who knows? Maybe we'll have Alex Morgan playing for their hometown over here in SoCal, you know. And I think it's important to bring that attention to women's soccer, because I mean, it's a soccer town, like you said, Gio. It's growing. The passion is growing. We'll talk about more about the rivalry between on the other side of the MLS. But yeah, I think these are exciting times, especially because you mentioned it. They're gonna debut on the year of the World Cup, which is in Qatar. Starts in November through December, and then now they get prepared for the World Cup over there, and I believe it's in Australia, if I'm not mistaken, in 2023.
Yes, I do believe it's in Australia. But like you said, there's so much things going on. It's exciting that. So I really wanted to hit on that. But we also got two other teams in LA. We got LAFC and LA Galaxy. Obviously, unless you don't, unless you live on the Rock, you know what happened with LAFC losing 6-2. I mean, I feel like the
Again.
LA Galaxy was the better team, but down the stretch they fell apart. You know, come the second half, LAFC ended up putting 4 goals into them, and no other by the man. You know, Diego Rossi, he had a big influence on that. He had 4 goals and 1 assist. Just a performance by him, by the team, and just to show the willingness on how they come back. On the other hand, Guillermo Scalotto is getting criticized, you know, and rightfully so. Obviously, you know, they've played 2 games and they lost 2 games, but especially the way they lost them. And the reason why he's being criticized is because members of the media and even myself, in a way, when you have certain players say that they were running out of gas, or you could see that they're running out of gas, and you see certain things that LAFC is making certain changes, and Guillermo, he's always been criticized of not using enough subs, and this is on Twitter, and I'm not here to say that obviously he doesn't know what he's doing, but in a way, when everybody else starts to see this, and weather has played into a factor, you started to see like players like Joe Corona start to run out of gas. Coelho started running out of gas. The second half, LAFC played so much better than they did. Obviously, we found out news about Chicharito. He wasn't playing an hour before the game. Obviously, that had to change. That had a lot to do with the tactics and how they were going to go. And I liked how they had Pabona up top with Leggett helping him out. But I just feel like there could have been changes made sooner. I don't know if that would have changed the outcome of the game. But I did see some of the players, start to slow down and not be able to give some of that performance that they did. Like at the start of the game, you had, players like Gordon Wall or Dunbar that could have came in on the flanks and done at least bring in fresher legs is what I'm trying to say. But what did you make of the game and Galaxy's performance?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both, Gio. The first half, pretty much Galaxy, who were almost going into the half, winning 2-1 or leading 2-1, and then the goal before the half that pretty much tied things up. And I think that was a big breakaway for LAFC, because if it's something that we've seen from LAFC is that they can come back any time of the game. Mm-hmm. They have the star power, they have the firepower, and even without Carlos Vela, they showed the resilience in the second half. They did it against Houston Dynamo in their first game, losing 3-1. They come back and tie the game. I was watching that game. Pretty exciting team, and yeah, just the way they respond in adversity. So I think hats off to LAFC for doing a better second half. Yeah, like you said, it's something that it's not understandable, because you have 5 subs, and if you see your players running out of gas, you have to make some type of changes in order to make the team react. You're playing against your rival. You're playing pretty much your hopes to stay alive in the tournament. They're still in it, but imagine they don't do as good against Houston Dynamo. We saw how Dynamo it's pretty much a problem, like they did in the first game with LAFC, and these two already faced off in the second game before the league stopped, and it finished 1-1. But I think, yeah, it's another blow for Galaxy. Chicharito, who came back to Los Angeles to get treatment after his injury, is not looking good for LA Galaxy. A lot of things have to be done. Hopefully they do some movements, some changes during the summer window, which I hope they are. They really need to get aggressive on the defensive side. Gio, in the last 2 games, I saw plays that, oh my God, it's unbelievable for certain players to not hustle enough.
Yeah, and I feel like I just to add, sorry to interrupt, but I feel like the last 20 minutes of game, Galaxy have struggled in that first game, and then they also struggled in the last game. Guillermo said that he thought the players played really well up until that 70th minute, and to me, if you see that and you're saying that, why not make subs? Why not?
Right.
Why not bring in fresher legs or substitute certain players? I guess his reason, he said that, I don't know if you saw that goal that was counted offsides. Pabon scored another goal and it was marked offsides. I think he was off by like a foot or something close. And then right after that happened, I want to say a couple minutes later, it was when Bradley Wright Phillips scored his goal, and then now it was 3-2, and then that kind of just changed the whole momentum. And I think that kind of gassed him. I think when that obviously it's easy for us to see and criticism and say that up here, but when you see that someone goes on top, it's the second half, I just assumed he was going to make a change, and that change never happened until later on, until I felt like the game at that point was kind of out of hand. But yeah, I mean, obviously they got to face the Houston Dynamo. They're not necessarily out of this tournament. They have to do something incredible in order to get that third place finish out of the rest of the teams in the tournament. But yeah, one of the things that's in their favor is Houston will be without Albert Ellis as their forward who received a red card in the last game. But obviously, as we know, LA Galaxy is obviously out with Chicharito. They're out, with Jonah Dos Santos. So they got a lot of things that they got to overcome. But right before this, I want to play this. I got to ask relating to the subs or, players running out of gas. This is what I asked David Bingham, and this is what he said.
We have to minimize the mistakes, and claiming that we need more subs or we're not fit enough, it's a cop-out. At the end of the day, every team here is dealing with the same elements, and some teams have dealt with them better than others. The last 25, 30 minutes of that game, we have to be mentally better. Obviously, every team's making mistakes right now. No one's really 90 minutes sharp. It's the reality we're playing in. But we have to do better than we showed against LAFC.
So obviously, he's owning up to it. Obviously, how they played, and he doesn't want make no excuses to that. But I like what Bingham said. Just taking ownership about how they played and the performance, and he's saying, that happened the way they played against LAFC.
Right.
I feel like you can lose, but the way they lost to their biggest rival, I know I saw a lot of people on Twitter how embarrassed they felt. Obviously, on the other end, if you're LAFC, it's probably one of the greatest victories just to win against the team, your arch rival, your arch nemesis. But yeah, I just don't like how they've been playing. I don't know how this game against Houston is going to go, and I don't know. And I do feel like I know it's early. I know the pandemic had happened, but there's a lot of players that Guillermo Schelotto has brought to the Galaxy from Boca. There's a lot of Argentinians on the club. He got Christian Pavone. Obviously, you can't predict injuries like Jonah Dos Santos. You can't predict injuries like Chicharito. But on the other hand, I would say like Bob Bradley, you can't predict Carlos Vela not being able to go to a tournament, but you can adjust. And I don't feel like I've seen those adjustments from Guillermo Schelotto. Like I have seen, from like Bob Bradley and stuff like that. I don't know what system they're running, and I feel like sometimes they're lacking a lot of ideas offensively, and defensively they run out of gas as a whole team the last 20 minutes of the game, and it's a 90-minute game.
Yeah, you're right, and I think 11 goals in the last two games against LAFC. It's a blowout pretty much. It's entertaining for the fans, but if you look at it from a tactical and as a fan of LA Galaxy, I think those are the results that really get you pretty much fired as a head coach. I know it's barely a tournament. I don't think any coaches will be getting fired after this tournament, but yeah, it's something like setting up the tempo for you to come back into the regular tournament. But yeah, I know we get it. It had the pandemic happened. You were stopped for almost 3 months, and now you have to get back into the rhythm. It's pretty much like a preseason once again. So, yeah, I think you have to give rest to the players. Take advantage of the 5 subs.
Yeah.
And it's important because you're going to burn out the players and cause more injuries if this keeps happening.
I just want to quickly go. Games, they're up with 6 points. LAFC. 4 points, Houston Dynamo 1 point, LA Galaxy 0 points. Just one last thing on this. If you don't get any points right now, these games obviously, as we know, count towards the season, and they currently only have 1 point, if I'm not mistaken, because I think they tied with Houston Dynamo when they first played this game. They lost against Vancouver, which was the second game, was opening at Dignity Health Sports Park. They lost opening night against the Portland Timbers here at the MLS Back Tournament. We know what happened with LAFC. So I expect the best. I expect these players, to want to come out and play hard and obviously get the win. I don't know if that, I feel like if you're LA Galaxy, you're Guillermo Lasc, you have to get the win, because if you don't get a win, you don't get any points in this tournament, and you go back home. The next time they're not going to play is at least August 11th. And say that's almost like what are we, July 8th, 22nd? Almost a month, and you're not going to play. Obviously, you're going to get Jonah Dos Santos back. You're probably going to get Chicharito back, but you're going to be out again for another month with no points
Right.
out of this tournament. And I think that is when you start looking down the road and you start seeing, okay, maybe Christian Pavon's not coming back. I don't want to say he's on the hot seat, but if he doesn't come out, Guillermo Schelotto does not come out with the positive result, at least with this game. I'm not saying the likelihood of them moving on, it's very hard at this point, but at least get a win or at least get some points that's high. I think then you start looking more at Guillermo Schelotto and how he's managing the team. And I get that the pandemic happened. I get all that stuff, but I feel like at some point, I know it's very early, but at some point you start to think that you're going to have another month without playing.
Yeah, I mean, it's the team is lacking an identity pretty much, Gio. We saw it last year. The defense struggle. A lot of games where they could have won and they lost it in the last couple of minutes. So barely making the playoffs. They lost against their rivals, LAFC. I believe it was 5-3, and then now again 6-2. So it hurts for the Galaxy fans. It's a joy for LAFC because LAFC, I think they're doing the right thing. They're trusting their manager, who pretty much give them an identity. The 4-3-3 is always useful for them, even without Bella. Like I said, the team's coming out pretty strong. A slow start for both games so far, but they're able to bounce back and at least come up with goals, and that's the thing they need. And even LAFC now without Dio, I think they're still a pretty powerful team.
Yeah. So obviously now I want to move on to LAFC. They're facing the Portland Timbers. They're going to be the game right after LA Galaxy at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow. This is going to be a very interesting game. You got the Portland Timbers, like I said. They're moving on regardless what happens. But they want to get the win. I'm assuming they want to go ahead and get 9 points. And obviously LAFC wants to go ahead and get as many points. They can get 7 points and potentially be the number one overall seed in Group F. Portland brings a really good defense. It has only allowed 2 goals in the tournament, and the interesting thing about this, both goals have come after the 85th minute. Mm-hmm. And we know LAFC is a second half team. They can bounce back. So if they've given only 2 goals and that's after the 85th minute, if the game's very tied,
anything can happen.
I'm going to bet my money that exactly anything can happen, and LAFC has that firepower. The only thing I will say to that is Bradley Wright Phillips has not played 90 minutes. He's getting subbed out. And what I want to add to that is Dio is back in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
Dio was supposed to be one of those pieces that was one of the players that was gonna, spark, give him goals, but he got injured. He's back in LA, and they're very light up top
offensively. Yeah,
offensively on the forward position. So I just want to do a quick update on LAFC's injury report. Adrian Perez is questionable. I don't know what that means. I don't know. Bob Bradley hasn't been clear if he's going to play this game. If not, but if he doesn't, let me go back. I think and Christian Torres, I believe, is the other forward that they have available that's going to be playing for them, coming off the bench. And I don't know if that's who you necessarily want coming off the bench for LAFC. Danny Masovsky and Christian Torres are the only. But you can also, Latif has played forward and all those things. But if it's a tight game and you need some offense and you need some goals and you need someone coming off the bench, and if if Adrian Perez doesn't give you that, and you're expecting Dio to be that person, and right now, let's say Bradley Wright Phillips can't play a full 90 minutes, I don't see Bob Bradley forcing Bradley Wright Phillips to play 90 minutes. Who subbed him out in the LA Galaxy game was El Munir, and that's because they were winning. But if you're down and you know that Bradley Wright Phillips can't give you these minutes, is Danny Mazovsky going to give you, is going to make you feel secure, Is Christian Torres, an academy player, going to give you that? You know what I'm saying? We don't see this now, but this is going to be a problem when LAFC moves down in this tournament, because I feel like not having Dio be that player that comes off the bench and spark and gives you that offensive, let's say, goal or whatever. I think eventually down the road, you're going to start to see the lack unless Adrian Perez is able to come out during this tournament.
Yeah, and I was thinking maybe Bradley has like a trick under his sleeves. You know how Rossi's having a great tournament so far. Maybe put him as a 9. Imagine that happens. And use Latif and Rodriguez as a wingers. That could probably work too because of their speed and their athleticism. We know Rossi can score goals, definitely. It'll be a new position for him pretty much in LAFC because we always see him on the left wing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, maybe it's something that Bob Bradley.
I just don't think if you put him there, that's not the most effective Diego Rossi. You want him on the flanks, you know that.
Right. But I mean, worst case scenario is probably the best bet if you're short on goals and you're looking for a 9. I think he could probably be one of the guys to step up like he did so far in these last 2 games. I just think
right now LAFC can get away with this, but if they don't have someone that's going to come off the bench, unless Bradley Wright Phillips can play a 90 minutes, I don't know when that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. It's not happening right now. Right. I just feel like they don't have that one player off the bench, and now that Dio's gone for the tournament, you don't have Carlos Vela. Rossi can score, but what if Rossi goes cold and Rodriguez goes cold and Bradley Wright Phillips is out? Who are you having come in? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the question.
That's the question, right? Mm-hmm. The question. Obviously, I know they can win a close game, but I feel like they've depended so much on the bench, especially offensively.
Right. Yeah, and then also like I was gonna say, yeah, it's something like to see how this team responds down the tournament because it's gonna get tougher. We're gonna have more games, and yeah, you need that player who's gonna be able to step up. And yeah, like you said, no Wright Phillips for 90 minutes it could be a problem now without Dio, and as well as Vela who's out. It's going to be interesting to see who can step up for this team offensively.
Yeah, and just obviously shout out to Rossi, 4 goals. He has 5 goals in 2 games. I expect him to potentially have another one tomorrow. He's been playing so great. I'm just excited to see this game tomorrow. To see because you have Portland's always a tough game.
Right.
Wherever you play them, it's always a tough game. And like I said, they've only given up 2 goals. And they came in the 85th minute. It's going to be a very, very, very exciting game. Let's see if I have any other notes on that. I think that's it. Also, I think I just saw earlier today, LAFC, I don't know if you saw this, they unveiled one of the kits. Let me find the word because I want to get this right. It's one of their kits that's for essential workers.
Yeah, I've seen it.
But I've seen it. It looks pretty cool, but I've seen that also people are not happy with the price. It's $180.
It's pretty expensive, especially in the pandemic.
It's a pretty expensive jersey. It's the Always Together jersey. Honors, I'm just reading this quote off LAFC sort of honors our essential workers on the front lines. Available via the LAFC app under shop. A portion of the proceeds will go to the Black and Gold Community Relief Fund. I just think $180 is a lot for that jersey and what they want. It's really cool. There you go. There you have it. Sorry, I'm going to have the graphic up here for people to see. I like what they're doing. I just think $180 is a lot. I don't even think regular jersey costs that much, huh? Does it? I think it's like $110, $120, depending where you get it from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you see the pretty much the words on the bag saying thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the essential workers.
Yeah, and I do like the creativity. What they got going on. I just wish it was lower. Because it looks really cool, and I just saw a lot of people that are like, yeah, I'm
at least for more people not to be able to afford it during this pandemic.
Exactly, be able to afford it. But I think they're trying to target, people with higher budgets than you and I. So
right,
we'll definitely not be part of that bracket.
You also have to pay contracts too.
Yeah,
Had
true.
to make up money
Exactly.
for that money that they lost during this pandemic.
Exactly. You do have to pay contracts. Maybe that's one way. This is one way. But yeah, Gustavo, is there anything else you'd like to add? I think we've had a great show so far with everything. Try to cover as much as we can.
Yeah, no, finally, just I'm very excited to have a women's soccer team out here in 2022. Welcome to the city of Los Angeles, Angel City. Hoping for the best. Always going to be supporting the LA teams. I think it's interesting to see how this is going to play out. I'm a big fan of soccer, so the more teams, the merrier. I think, just to go cover not just LA Galaxy, LAFC, but also now Angel City. Hopefully the name sticks around. I really like it. We'll see how that plays out. But yeah, stay tuned for more information. You can follow me, Gustavo A_Ortega, just how it is down below. But also, again, Gio, thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Guys, obviously you guys can follow me at Gio Garcia LA. Also, obviously follow our social media, LA Soccer Hub. We're slowly growing this. Getting a lot of people board. Obviously, we'll have Gustavo here. Trying to get as much information and news out to you guys with this weekly live stream. Also going to turn this into a podcast. And if you haven't yet, guys, give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. Just try to go up there. Give us some feedback, what you like, what the show, what we should cover more. But yeah, that's gonna wrap things up, and I'm just gonna close it out with the video one more time. Guys, thank you guys for tuning in.
Los Angeles, where the concrete meets the coast, where talent meets triumph. A city defined by its citizens, empowered by their dreams. A place that moves the world. And what better time is there to move than now? Welcome to a new era of sport and entertainment. Unapologetic, undeniable, unstoppable. That's who we are, because that's who the city is. Bright lights and brighter stars. This is the place. This is the time. The global sport in the global city. Coming together, we're naturally destined to be bigger than the game. Rewriting the script, righting the wrongs. Building a women's football club that lives up to the name. Angel City. And you're a part of it. Part of driving change forward. Welcome to the beginning.
Thank you guys. Just had to play that video one more time. It was cool. We'll catch you guys next time.